And hello.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. Excited to talk about the film.
Yes, no, it's actually, we did it properly this time and we have not spoken to each other at all about this film.
Yes, because the other two times we may have previously talked about the movie, but this time we're clean. It's been over a week for you. Almost a week or just under a week for me. I don't even remember where I saw it.
I've seen multiple films since then that I think I also want to talk about, but you haven't seen either of them yet.
Well, I'm more of a TV person. I consume more TV.
Just so you know, she hasn't seen Top Gun Maverick yet.
I'm probably gonna see it on Friday. Probably.
By the
Don't you? I don't want no annotation above me being like, she's lying or whatever it is. But anyway, let's talk about, so we're reviewing again, movie of the month. Would you like to say what it is, Rob? Lightyear. So new Pixar movie, first of all, but also prequel, companion, offshoot of the Toy Story series.
It's something.
It's something.
It's something. Like I think it's really been overcomplicated by the marketing. It's like, oh, this film is the film that is about Buzz Lightyear inside of the Toy Story universe, and people needed that explained to them. Whereas as soon as the trailer came out, I was like, yeah, Buzz Lightyear movie, cool.
Yeah. This movie is the movie that is the reason the Buzz Lightyear toy exists.
Yes.
So, just like now, superhero movies come out, and then toys or action figures exist of the main characters or the villains or whatever. This is that movie for Buzz Lightyear.
That's correct.
Which calls the question, will they do now one for Woody?
I would be down.
Piggy, whatever it is. What's his name? Ham.
Yes.
Mr. Pig. You call me Mr. I think they make that joke in the movie.
Call me
Mr. Pig.
In Lion King,
That's
they
right.
make the pig
I'm getting
joke.
confused between
Yes.
Disney. I was about to say Dixar. Disney properties.
And with that, spoiler alert.
So as always, let's start with our one-word review. So as a reminder, basically just one word, nothing else. And we did lie a little bit at the beginning. We know each other's one-word review.
Yes.
But that's all we know. We don't know anything else. So with that, I will begin. So my one-word review is pen. I almost forgot for a second there.
Do I have to always tell you what your one-word review was?
I always forget what my one-word review was.
Yes.
So my one-word review is pen. Ooh.
People who watch the movie, the 5 people who watch the movie know what that means. It's not doing very well.
Is it not?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we can't talk about freaking opinions. Okay.
Yeah.
Your one-word review.
My one-word review includes some punctuation.
Yes.
So it's uniform? Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, let's
Yes.
finally get into it. Overall, I really enjoyed it. And I think the pacing was something that could have been improved on. I think that it's not necessarily that a lot happened in the movie. It just feels the way in which the story progresses was quite quick. Having said all that, I still really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters. The humor got to me. Socks was the greatest and most ingenious thing. Yes, Socks, by the Pixar marketing department. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it as like a fun, kid-friendly space adventure, essentially, that is animated.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I had a feeling that that's where you were leaning.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, I didn't hate this film.
Oh no.
I did also enjoy it.
Okay.
I think overall it is a decent, fun little popcorn action adventure.
Okay.
But
Oh.
I'm not going to deny that I was a little
Disappointed?
I was a little disappointed, but not crushingly so.
Okay.
I think the thing is that you're obviously saying that there was pacing problems in the middle.
No, I meant throughout the whole movie.
Throughout the whole movie,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that it was more than just pacing issues for me. It was just general story development for me. Now, I think the thing that I look at the most is I'm thinking, okay, first act, I was loving it. It was like, if you wanted to explain to your child Interstellar, you show them this. Like all of that, totally agree. I was totally on board for. Once we got past the first act, there was less of a story, plot, and character development, but just more of a, you have the characters, they're in this scenario, they get out of it, in this scenario, get out of it, get out of it. And it was just that for ages. And then all of a sudden we're in the third act. And the third act again did do something, which we'll get into, that piques my interest again. It was like, ooh, that's interesting. But if you give it, in my opinion, a modicum of thought, it doesn't really make much sense. And you've actually got to do a lot of work yourself to make it make sense. And then by the end of the film, it felt like to me that they knew they were making a perfectly workable, functional action adventure, and they even skipped over some explanations or necessary story points to make the conclusion happen. And I'm like, now it just feels like an origin film that is setting up the Buzz Lightyear movie next time that I actually would have wanted to see this time.
Speaking of which, we should probably talk about the characters, both Buzz and the new ones introduced. Now, I've already touched on my favourite, and I'm sure many people's favourite, but let's speak about our titular character first. Voiced by Chris Evans, Captain America. So very interesting casting, I think, because again, Pixar isn't really into the big casts, although recently that's a lie, because recently they have been with Jamie Foxx and with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland across Soul and Tina Fey across Soul and Onward respectively. But typically, like Chris Evans, especially going from Captain America and this is his like next project, very interesting casting. But what are your thoughts on his performance?
It made sense to me. Like, I think I was on board for it as soon as they announced it. Because a lot of people weirdly was like, why isn't Tim Allen voicing Buzz Lightyear? I'm like, well, I mean,
he's 100.
He's 100, and also,
That's the toy.
I don't think I had a lot of Captain America toys growing up. I had a lot of Batman and Superman toys, and I don't think any of my Superman toys were voiced by Christopher Reeve. You know, like aging myself there. It felt better to have a younger sounding voice for that character, but still with that commanding vibe. You know?
Exactly. And on that note, I do want to talk about Socks.
Peter Shonson, how do you pronounce his name?
Yes. I'm not 100% sure. I apologize. We
Sorry.
will put the correct pronunciation above in text.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's partly performance, just partly the character and the way he was written. The way he was written was just, oh my goodness, from the moment he was on screen to the moment where the double gets murdered. Just like, no, anytime.
Best character of the whole film.
As soon as he showed up on screen and he was remotely adorable, I was just like, Pixar, you're a genius. You've just I want one. I want the, like, you know how you had those robot dog toys?
Yes.
Just make one of those, but a cat, and then make it with and
I'm surprised Andy didn't have one, if this is the film that's in the Toy Story
and that's
universe.
the danger of this kind of film, right? There were so many things where I was like, okay, I get it. Yes, we still have Zurg, we still have Buzz, but like, where's the Mo Morrison toy? Where's the Socks toy? You know, where's the little alien plant toy thing? But on that note, should we move on to some of the other human characters?
Yeah, I guess the one I think we should cover and people will be thinking about is Izzy and Ayesha Hawthorne.
Yes.
So for context, Ayesha Hawthorne is Buzz's partner in Star Command, and then of course Buzz gets stranded, or the whole colony that Buzz is piloting gets stranded on this planet, and it's a bit of an interstellar situation where he's going up into space trying to get them home, but every time he goes on this mission, 4 years pass. So it's been like seconds for him, but you know, years for everyone else.
Which was so cool. I don't know about you, but I was like, oh yeah, and then we'll do the story from here. But then he goes back again, and it's been more years, and then we get a little montage of him.
And you're seeing Ayesha grow old without him, and Ayesha has a wife. Which was, honestly, I was just like, oh yeah. Yeah, no, perfect.
I think it was a perfect way, if we have to talk about it, which I think we do, because
it's been such a thing.
I wanted actually, and I want to take a moment to speak about my disgust for review bombing that's happening a lot right now. And this has happened across Moon Knight for its inclusion of the Armenian genocide in a line in one episode. Miss Marvel for, you know, take your pick reasons really. And then now Lightyear, and you can tell people are like, oh, I don't believe it's being review bombed. The second you click into the reviews and there's thousands of
Yeah.
1 stars, but then all the other reviews, when you actually look at how it's split, it would probably end up being like a 7.5
Yeah.
on IMDb.
Yeah.
But because it's not, I think it began at like a 4.5 or something stupid like that, which
Yeah.
like we have already talked about, and I'm sure we'll talk about more. It is not a 4, it's not a 5, and it certainly doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
And doing
there's
that
really
just
only
because
one reason why it's that low on IMDb.
Yes.
And sadly, it is the ugly reason of people just being uncomfortable about this same-sex relationship.
Which is literally just there as like a character building development moment. Like, get over it. Like, get over it, deal with it. There are same-sex relationships.
They're not pushing
in the
an
world.
agenda.
Like, the movie's just showing it because that's just stuff that happens. And honestly, people,
It also is the best emotional hook in the whole film.
And that's exactly what I want to get to.
Yeah.
It is the moment that hit me the most emotionally, and it has nothing to do with the LGBT element of the relationship and everything to do with the friendship between Buzz and Ayesha.
And that he missed out on, in seeing
Yeah.
her life and enjoying their lives together as friends.
Yeah,
And,
it's literally an up moment. You
Yeah.
see the progression of the relationship in moments. I'll admit, I teared up. I was like, it's a friendship.
I think the only point I teared up was when you saw Buzz get teary over Ayesha's photo.
Yeah.
I think that was the high point in the film, and then you get into what I was saying before, which is just the scenario after scenario after scenario,
Yeah.
and I was sort of getting a little sleepy. Because usually, Pixar's very good at laying the groundwork for the character arc, and then you kind of don't necessarily know what lesson the character's going to learn. But as soon as the movie kicked off, I was like, he's going to learn that he missed out on a whole life because he was too obsessed with his mission, and that's exactly where it goes.
Yeah.
So there was not much to discover on a character level, even though the storyline works,
But also you kind of saw where each character was going. I mean,
Yes.
Izzy, she's afraid of space. She's going to end up going to space. Mo has a pen on his
And he's
suit.
trying to be useful,
He's
so
trying
of
to
course
be
the
useful.
pen will be useful later.
Yeah, and then of course the Darby character, she's an explosive. And she can make anything blow up. Any 2 things or 3 things blow up. She's going to end up having to make something blow up later. Yeah. But then, so we meet those cast of characters. Obviously, they're all rookies. We've established by this point Buzz hates any and all rookies, and now he's being forced to work with only rookies because the settlement is being blocked off by these killer robots who are being controlled by
Emperor Zurg, obviously.
Yes. And all we know about Emperor Zurg is that he is a rip-off of Darth Vader, and they make a joke about that in Toy Story 2, and I thought that was actually like a character thing, and it turns out it's not a character
So, I
thing.
mean, that's the thing. Everybody, of course, is watching this film expecting that, when Emperor Zurg and Buzz finally meet, I was like, okay, it's going to be his dad, probably.
Yes? Question mark?
They make a joke about it.
Yeah, but also, it's not his dad. The reveal is that
It's
Zurg...
literally Buzz.
It's Buzz, but in 40, 50 years.
Yeah, Buzz
It's
from
old
the
Buzz.
future.
Alternate reality, alternate future Buzz Lightyear,
Yes.
who still has the mission that is the moral lesson into you can't stay stuck in the past. You have to live with you have to live life and not try to fix a mistake.
Because being so obsessive will turn you into a cranky old man who wears a robot uniform.
Yes.
And takes over the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
and basically the moral dilemma that Buzz is ultimately met with is, great, we can go back in time and basically fix us having crash landed so we can go home and he can be with his partner again and they can, be space rangers together, blah, blah, blah. But what that would do is mean that everyone who currently exists, including the ragtag team of rookies...
And all the colonies that have had their whole life on the planet.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the ragtag team that he has unsuspectingly grown to love would never exist.
I thought that moment piqued my interest again. When the robot suit opens and it's
Buzz.
It's Buzz, and I was like, ooh, okay, we're getting really into some sort of timey-wimey time dilation, alternate universe stuff. I'm like, great, I love this. And when they're explaining it, they kind of gloss over what we're dealing with here. Is it did the timeline split?
Yes.
Is it has he come back in time? Is it the same timeline, but they show an alternate universe?
Well, no, that's what I
version of
mean.
Events?
The old guy, the old Buzz, he does infer that the timeline split.
it's so lightly inferred that it's like not really well explained.
Yeah, so basically he was able to time travel back to this part of the world, and because he had the robots, that means that his, like, the inside team or whatever wasn't able to capture him and put him in jail and make him the, like, awful person he ends up being, because he doesn't become resentful of it. And so he went off in a different direction to fight off the robots that wouldn't have existed if he hadn't gone back in time, and
my question is that if the timeline split, if he goes back in time, how does he go back in time and arrive in the alternate timeline?
True, because what this movie is
this is why I've got problems. This is why I was like, I don't know, man.
True, because if he goes back in time,
he would be going back in time in his own timeline.
Well, no, but no. I don't think the timeline has split, but I think there would be a doppelganger Buzz. So I think it's the same timeline. It's just that he would go back, and then he wouldn't be young Buzz. He'd have to give young Buzz.
We see a flashback that shows the version of events that old Buzz went through at the relative same time are different to what we've just seen our Buzz do.
Yes, but it is still the same timeline because he traveled back and like talked to Buzz and blah, blah, blah. So that timeline doesn't exist. That timeline isn't still existing because going back in time would erase these people. If it was a split timeline, him going back in time and getting off the home planet wouldn't kill the current people.
I guess.
But what it does mean...
our Buzz, when he comes into the present time, the Zerg robots are all there. So I suppose maybe that created another ripple. Yeah. But this is what I mean. It's like, it's the film doesn't do a...
Time travel's tricky, guys.
Time travel is tricky. And the thing is that it doesn't... It's a little bit too heady and potentially breaks its own rules. And here we are trying to figure it out.
It's a bit too intense for what is meant to be a kid's movie.
Yes.
But then again, having said that, if I'm a kid watching this, I would just take it with how it's being
I wouldn't have questioned it at all.
Yeah, I would just be like, okay, time travel. You know, with pretty much the same extent I would have done to Back to the Future. So, but I think that essentially...
Let's not even get into how Back to the Future deals with time.
But essentially what I think would have happened if he'd been successful, old Buzz, he would have taken the thing, gone back in time, given it to young Buzz, been like, hey, this thing's about to happen, don't do it.
Yeah.
And then he would have dissipated, I guess.
I don't know.
Is the point is, doesn't happen because the ragtag rookie team end up coming through with the goods and taking down all the robots. And also the reason he's called Zerg is because the robots can't say Buzz.
Which is the biggest stretch.
What programming is making Buzz be Zerg? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Again, who's to say? Again, a child would be like, oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Buzz Zerg.
There's a Z and a Z in there, alphabet. I'm learning the alphabet currently. Not me, personally, just to make that clear. So,
it's all right, guys. He's very, Rob's trying. He doesn't know how to read yet. That's why there's some misspelling sometimes. I'm joking. There's not. If there is, that's my fault because I reviewed the videos before we published them. So with that, much more affinity, whatever, lover, liker. I think that's an easier way of saying it.
In the last video, we established I can't read. She can't speak. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Except that's going to be the next video. We're filming them in the wrong order.
I do have two issues with kind of where the film ends up, which is, the rookies, of course, they all become space rangers at the end, and, Buzz, they
get the suit.
Now, that's the big one, because when they defeat Zerg, and they're being like, the cavalry's all arrived, and the general man is there, and he's like, paying Buzz out and everything, and it's like, Buzz is like, I'm surrendering myself for disciplinary, whatever he says, Captain America type line. Yeah. And then the general's like, well, Buzz, actually, I've had a change of heart, and let's start Star Command. Want to be the new captain? Yeah. And I'm sort of struggling to see, well, how did that general come to the same conclusion that we came to? Like, he's been out of the movie the whole time.
How did he know that they had defeated Zurg?
How did he know that they defeated Zurg? And it's almost like, oh, did the general read the script and he knew that this was the point that
Yes.
he needed to... the actor probably did. So he just knew, oh, this is the point where I need to offer Buzz Star Command. And then when we get the Star Command suits, it's now the Buzz Lightyear toy that we know and love. And I'm thinking, so I've gone through this whole movie where to see the laser in use and to see the wingsuit in use, it's really just MacGyvered from different shit that he picked up along the way. And it gave him ideas of like, oh, what if we have this? And I'm like, oh, great. So I've sat here for 100 minutes and now he's gotten some ideas of how to put some mods on his suit. And the mods that he's put on his suit is literally what I would have wanted to see in the first place.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So,
I will say I really enjoyed the little like captain's log. Very, very literally ripped out of, purposefully, I think, Star Trek. Like even when especially when he's like captain's log, supplemental. That was so like, I've literally watched the Star Trek episode yesterday that did that. And so that was very cool. And the fact that he was, talking into his thing. I also like that Ayesha paid him out for like narrating, because it is narration basically. But having said all that, I will say it's always really interesting to me when it's like, ooh, the toy based on the uniform, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, he doesn't wear the uniform. He wears it at the beginning and then he wears it at the end.
And that's my problem. Is that like, if this really was the film that kicked off the Buzz Lightyear craze in the universe of Toy Story, it would have just been, here's Buzz, here's the Space Rangers, this is what Space Rangers wear.
And with that, I guess we should get into our final thoughts and final rating.
Yes.
So,
would you like to start?
Oh, okay. So, quick run through. I'm not going to run through them all again. Rob, put them on the screen. You guys can see.
There they are.
Yeah.
Let's hold on that for a second.
Yeah.
There you go. We're just holding.
We're just holding on the screen.
Enough time for people to read.
Have you read it all? If you're a bit slow, maybe you're like Rob and you haven't learnt the alphabet.
I'm never going to live this. The internet now will think that I can't read.
That's why I write the descriptions. Anyway, okay, so I will go first. I've been thinking about this. I will immediately say, it's not a cold trash, it's not a hot garbage, and it's not a shining treasure. I've been switching between Socks at Christmas and Hot Soup. I don't quite think it's a hot soup, but I also don't quite think it's a Socks at Christmas.
You gotta pick one.
Socks at soup, sock soup.
If you had to pick one, because we'll have to do the combination when I reveal mine.
Okay, I literally am landing in the middle. Like I'm a sock soup. I'm a hot Christmas. I'm an Australian Christmas right now.
Right.
It's a, okay. I'm gonna say Socks at Christmas.
I don't need to think about it. It's Socks at Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Socks at Christmas then. So I guess we were going to land there anyway.
We were.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad. How fitting.
Yes.
How fitting that we ended up on Socks at Christmas.
I was for sure you were going to do a hot soup.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not, because what I mean is, like, I will watch this again, but I'm not going to be like with Incredibles or Finding Nemo or, I mean, these are all shining treasures, but there's an element of me where I'm kind of like, I really enjoyed it, but it's still not a hot soup. It's not at the level that Multiverse of Madness was. A lot of films this year have been, it's a Socks at Christmas. Like, if someone was like, hey, you want to watch Lightyear again? I'd be like, oh yeah. I'm not going to be like, hell yeah, or yeah, I'd really like to.
I think I would wait until it's on Disney Plus for me. Honestly.
Oh yeah, like I'm not going to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good to Disney Plus it. That'll be like a month or two anyway.
Probably.
So yeah, there you go. Look at us. We're fulfilling all of them we've had so far. We've had a hot trash or a cold garbage. We've had a shining treasure. We've had we haven't had a shining. Well, not in the reviews yet.
See, just you wait though, because look, the Top Gun Maverick's a shining treasure. She's going to give it a cold trash, and all of a sudden we're going to have to say on the internet that Top Gun Maverick is a Socks at Christmas, which will be a lie. Don't believe us.
We're not reviewing that one. So, but with that, so Socks at Christmas for Lightyear. Yeah. Good for it. And now let us go and have some food ourselves.
I'm very hungry.
I am too. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yep.
See you later. Oh, he keeps walking off.